Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Lies, hypocrisy, satire. It is the Prepared Mind channel, where you're not allowed to talk about anything. Otherwise, you're going to upset the powers that be in Washington, D.C. Welcome back, folks. Do you give a shit what they think in Washington, D.C.? I sure hope not. I sure hope you don't, because they are not doing anything to help you, period. This is the Prepared Mind channel. This is the Zoo. It is Sunday Night Live, and this is the Razor Wire edition. All right, I've got, let's see, got the liquid refreshment here, a triple shot hot toddy, along with the Glenfiddich 18-year. For those of you who do $50 super chat donations, pow. I take a shot, and then you get your question. But any super chat, folks, works. And right up there is the button, super chat button. Then we got, let's see, we got PayPal, Venmo, CashApp. They all work. This is your chance. We're live right now. We're live for YouTube. We're live for the preparedmind.club, and we're live for subscribestar.com. Now, I got to say this. Uman was talking to me, and someone over the weekend was complaining that they were getting the news on YouTube only as fast as everyone else. Well, that's what being live is about. Right now, we're live. We're ahead of the curve. And Monday through Friday, you can join us live on subscribestar.com, on the preparedmind.club. It is just a $2 membership. That's it for the whole month. $2 membership. You support this channel guerrilla warrior style. There is no more advertising revenue on the Prepared Mind channel. There's commercials that goes to YouTube. Because the moment I mention, and here it goes again, Ukraine war, Iran, China, the Jim Jones juice, the moment I mention, folks, cerveza bug, the moment I talk about anything controversial, they kill all advertising revenue. If I want to mention the fruitcake, fruit salad, LGBTQI, butt dart, butt pirates, it's done. They take away the money. You're not allowed to talk about anything except fuzzy kittens and, well, I guess others can talk about drag queens, but not me. So the point is that you guys support the channel, and I want to thank you for it. It is all your channel. So again, we're live on Sunday Night Live every single week, and you are invited. You can join in. You got to be a subscriber for 10 minutes before you can get a comment in, and that's just how that goes. So hit the subscribe button down below. Share that internet address up above. We've got a ton to talk about, but of course, I want to hear what you have to say. And if you've got something to say, we'll put it on the screen, and you will be famous in the world of prepping, patriotism, and Americanism. This is the Razor Wire edition of the Zoo, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So let's start off the show as we love to do, as we are wont to do, with a Darcy T Super Chat donation. And so here it is. It's got a $50 PayPal donation. Thank you again, Darcy T, and thank you for the emails over the weekend as well. It's a good one, folks. It's a good one. So here it is, Darcy. Semper Fi, God bless America. Get prepared. It's just like mother's milk, I'm telling you. So Darcy says, good evening, John. Wondering about all of the border BS that is unfolding. Something doesn't feel right. Thoughts? Well, I've got some thoughts, Darcy. Okay, so what she's talking about is there's conflicting information. We seem to get that with everything, whether it's Sandy Hook, the Boston bombing, 9/11. We got conflicting information about the October attack on Israel from Hamas. We got conflicting information on January 6th from the government until they finally got it together and they're like, that's an insurrection. Everything is conflicting with them until they decide what story they're going to tell, who's going to tell it, and how they can promote government power and authority with the story they tell. So right now, what have we got? We've got kind of an issue in Texas, right? What Darcy is specifically referring to is a video that was put on Twitter of a guy claiming, and I don't know if it's true or not, folks, because I'm not in Texas, claiming there's not really a problem, that something's amiss, that something's awry, that we're all being played, boondoggled. Because he says he drove half a mile down the road from the border crossing at Eagle Pass to find an opening in the fence to Mexico. The gates were swung open, no one guarding it. Whereas half a mile down the road, they were guarding it with M16s. That's what this guy was showing. One guy. How do we know where he was? He did break away from his footage of the gate with two Texas National Guardsmen. Two Texas National Guardsmen. And then he cut, and then he ended up showing some other footage. I don't know where that was. I don't know anything about it. But that video is designed to say, hey, wake up. Something's not quite right. My issue is I don't know if it's true or not what this guy was showing. Could we all be being played? Now, wait a minute. We've gotten reports for months and months that millions of illegals have crossed the border. We've seen pictures of millions of illegals, day to day to day to day, all added up, living under the bridges, coming across in floods, being bused to Martha's Vineyard, Kamala Harris's house, New York City, Chicago, and other places. And we're hearing from New York and Chicago that they're going broke. They don't have enough money to go around. The people of Chicago are screaming and yelling, that's our welfare money, and they're taking it. Right? We've got all kinds of, shall we say, claims that the invasion is real, that it's a crisis. Okay, I've gotten reports from private people along the border saying the illegals are coming across. They're stomping our crops into the ground. They're violating our property rights by trampling through. Okay, but at the same time, I see this video footage that's been put out there. What is going on? Well, I can tell you, right, that the Texas National Guard is putting up more razor wire, and that the claim is that there is a border battle with Biden. Hey, some claim it's all staged. I listened and read a comment coming from the Border Patrol, CPBC or CBP. Anyways, what they were claiming is there is no conflict between the Border Patrol and the Texas National Guard. Not at all. If there's an emergency, the National Guard is helping us handle the emergencies. Everything is peachy keen down here. We're all good buddies. I don't see how that can be the case. I just can't see it. There are so many pissed off Texans, so many pissed off Americans. How can we believe that the Border Patrol that cuts the wire, high fives, knuckle bumps, hands a sandwich and a credit card to these illegals coming across as they say snide, shitty remarks to the camera like, hey, I made it anyway, man. You can't stop us. Ha, 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 ha. How is that not a problem? The pictures of Russians, the pictures of Chinese, the pictures of North Africans, the pictures of people who are terrorists, pictures of people and audio of them talking shit as they march into America. How can that not be a problem? When the Border Patrol lets them in because Joe Biden says. And Joe Biden over the weekend earlier was like, I don't have any control over the border. I don't know what's going on. This is not my fault. How can he claim it's not his fault? How is that possible? Because the Biden blackmail is continuing. It's intensifying. It is growing. You know what he's doing? This came back out in the news. Once again, Biden says he is not going to secure the border until Congress gives him money to send over to Ukraine and send over to Israel. That's blackmail. It's political blackmail. He's refusing to do his job. I ain't doing nothing. I'm not going to do my constitutional duty. I'm not going to do what I swore an oath to do until I get money for my political causes. What does that sound like to you? Does that sound like lawful government? Does that sound like a responsible president? I'm not doing my job. It would be cheaper for the United States of America, not Washington, D.C. It'd be cheaper for the U.S. states to shut down the border themselves, seal it off. It'll be cheaper to do that than to send money to Ukraine. How much did Trump want for the for the southern border? He wanted $6 billion, or was it $5 billion? They ended up giving him, $4 billion? He bought a bunch of material. They put in as much as they can. Then Joe Biden killed it. And he sold off the materials for pennies on the dollar, if that much. What does Biden want to send, folks, to Ukraine? He wants to send another $60 billion, last I checked. Or did he lower it to a pittance of $40 billion? Trump had to fight his ass off to get just a few billion, just a handful of billions compared to the wheelbarrow full of billions Biden wants to add to the other wheelbarrows full of billions of dollars. $150 billion has been sent to Ukraine. Unfucking believable. It would be cheaper for the country, for the individual states, to put men on the border, put up barbed wire fence, and start building their own fence again. It'll be cheaper for us to do that than to let Washington, D.C. send $60 billion over to Europe into a black hole, a cesspool of money laundering and jackassery. And I continue to listen and learn. There's no way. The war is already lost. It's already lost. The artillery shells the Ukraine has, the Ukraine military, they're down to just smoke artillery shells. What are the odds of them hitting someone with a smoke-filled artillery shell? They're not going to kill anyone. They're running out of ammo. They're running out of everything. They don't have any money. Europe is not sending any money to Ukraine. So why should America? They're losing. They're going to lose. It is over. In the next few months, here's a prepared mind prediction. Prepared mind prediction for what? For Ukraine and Russia. In the next few months, several more territories are going to vote to leave Ukraine and join the Russian Federation. They'll have some elections. Ukraine will object. NATO will object. The European Union will object. The United States of D.C. will object. England will object. Russia is not going to allow the Azov battalion to exist. Period. They will wipe it out, disband it, destroy it as a concession, or rather a term of agreement under the new, shall we say, terms of peace. Ukraine is going to have to sue for peace to stop Russia, and the terms are going to be no more Nazis. No more. That was one of the first things he talked about when they said, that's it, we're going in, we're going to go stomp the fuck out of Ukraine. It was the denazification was one of the terms. Now everyone's like, why is it taking so long for Russia to defeat Ukraine? Folks, they're in a hurry. They would like to win, yeah. But that's not how Russia fights a fucking war. How did Russia defeat the Germans in World War II? By grinding them all into bone meal slowly. And they'll lose a lot of Russians doing it, just like they did back then. But they will not quit. The Russian people love their country. They love their culture. They're not in love with wokeism, diversity, equity, inclusion. They're not in love with LGBTQIA plus crap. They've got none of that. They love Russia, whether they're Christians or whether they're Muslims. And there's a lot of Russian Muslims, and they love their country. They're unified, folks. It's a fucking mess over there. But Biden wants another $60 billion to prolong this mess. And he's going to hold our open border hostage until he gets it. So once again, we see this video that there's not a problem on the border. And I'm wondering, wait a moment. Let us think about this. So I'm calling back to Darcy's email. What the hell is going on down there? Could it be that when they said, you know what, fuck that, and instead of cute little border patrol, la migra, it's almost a fucking dance for those people now. Da 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 da. La migra, la migra, la migra. Give me a sandwich, give me a card. Let me go into the country. Right? That's the fucking game they're playing on the Mexican side. Texas National Guard shows up wearing full camis, body armor, M16s, and they roll out more wire and they're like, game over, motherfuckers. Back into Mexico. They're like, man, let's get out of this place. The party's over, eh? Right? And off they go. Why would they be up on the barbed wire fence when there's M16s there? Of course, they're just going to go away, regroup, and try and figure this shit out. I think that is probably a better explanation. If that video is real, then that's what's going on. It's cheaper for the United States of America as individual states to pay for this mess down on the southern border than to let Biden do it. Supposedly, yeah, we'll close the border for you. 6 months ago, Mayorkas was in front of Congress going, the border is 100% secured. Fucking Biden this weekend was claiming the country's never been in better shape than it is now. Karine Jean-Pierre is out there lying off her little head full of curly fries bullshit. And people want to go, I don't know. I don't think those prepper guys and patriots know what they're talking about. Just wait, folks. Just wait. There's another thing out there. It's out there. It is out there. At the end of the first quarter, 2024, banks have to refinance a lot of debt. Okay, folks, we've already jacked up to 360. That's right, 360 degrees of the prepared mind. 360 people live right now. Share that internet address. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get this show rolling. Get your super chats in. Pow, right up there. Hit the super chat. Get you on the screen. What do you want to talk about? Jolene, who wants to step up and be the next one on? It is Chin Music with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he says, gear is clean and checked. Check, check. We've got a full tank of gas. Check. Half a pack of cigarettes. Check. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. I'll tell you what. After the gear is clean and checked, Chin Music was quoting the Blues Brothers, the original Blues Brothers, where they had to make a run from Lake Wassapamonte all the way into the Cook County Assessor's Office. Great movie. Anyways, check. Everything needs to be clean and clear. I've been talking about SHTF for over 10 years on this channel with you guys. People go, well, John, there's no nuclear war. We're not being invaded by the Russians or Chinese. What are you talking about? What's the problem? Oh, it's hit the fan. It has hit the fan. And people are stupid. Never underestimate stupid people. Well, no, John, everyone's fine. Okay, let me help remind those people who say everything's fine. I recall just a couple of years ago, back in 2020, and then 2021, someone said, there is something so evil and bad out there, so deadly, that if you breathe it, you're going to die. So hide in your homes and wear a dirty cloth over your face all day long, and you'll be saved. The TV, this electronic box, told people to go out and get an untested, unknown, unverified substance. Have a medical professional stick you in the arm with it, inject it through your skin into your system, and everything will be fine. Well, folks, I did neither of those things, and I'm fine. A lot of people did exactly as they're told. They lost their jobs. They had their businesses crash. They went psychologically nuts. They damaged their kids. They've terrified the country. Then the ones that got the juice have killed themselves, ruined their immune systems, and it just is going to get worse. In fact, this one right here is from Darcy T. Over the weekend, take a wild guess. Let's do it. Let's go down to the Pfizer files. No, the wild guess files. Here we are, folks, in Memphis. No, I'm not going to sing anything about Memphis. Their news anchor from Action News 5 kicked the bucket at a remarkable 38 years old. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a coroner. I didn't do the autopsy, but I'm going to take a wild guess on this one. A news anchor, age 38. And that's right, she wasn't doing something stupid. She's not an athlete who has pumped herself full of steroids and ruined her heart. But all of the symptoms, the suddenly dying. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds familiar. That's how that shit works, folks. Do what they say. You know, the crazy part is people listening to an electronic box. The crazy part is people believing politicians. The crazy part is accepting that your doctor can tell you what to do and actually knows what to do. Every time I get sick, I go to WebMD or I go to the Mayo Clinic, something online, and it tells me the same thing doctors tell people. You got a cold. Have some chicken soup. That's a good doctor. The bad doctor says, come on over here. I'm going to stab you in the arm with some more shit. Let's see what that does to you. Ooh, blood clots. Ooh, pulmonary failure. Neurological disorders. Enlarged heart attack, death. Sounds like a winning program to me. Woo! Folks, faster than we have done in the last several months. We're over 400 people live. We're at 412 and going up. Up. Hit the thumbs up. Share that internet address, and let's get to some more questions. You've got something to say. Super chat donation button over there gets your questions on here, and we talk about the topics. This is your show. It is Sunday. It is the zoo, and we are live on this razor wire night. Jolene. We have Pillar of Salt checking in with a great $4.99 super chat donation. He says, do you think we went too far on free trade? Why can't many countries we balance the books? I'll tell you what, let's talk about free trade. Back in the early 90s, this little short Texas guy named Ross Perot ran for president as an independent. We had 3 people on the ticket in that election year. And basically, he stole votes from George H.W. Bush, and Clinton won the election. But what he said, and he's basically let everyone know, either way, he's going to win. Either way, Ross Perot makes more money. But he said, he had the big Dumbo ears. He said there's going to be a great big sucking sound of jobs leaving this country. When jobs leave the country, the means of production leaves the country. When the means of production and the jobs leave the country, the profit leaves the country. And we've been dealing with that ever since then, pillar of salt. It's not free trade. The system they put in place, they call free trade, but it is, folks. It is the deindustrialization of America and Europe, the shipping of the jobs, the corporations over to India, China, Indonesia. And what do they do with it? They're using their cheap labor to produce cheap products to send here. They get these corporations, folks, GE, LG, Ford, Chevy. Name any company, and they are sending their production overseas. They get to keep their cash, their profit, except what they make in the United States of America. This is a giant end run around on our country to screw over the people and for the rich people to get extra rich. That's why they did this. Yeah, it should have never gone this way at all. The United States government should be making its money on imports and exports, not off of our labor. They completely fucked the entire system up, and gee whiz, if there was any indicator of how well it's worked, take a look at all the debt. From the country's debt to corporate debt to individual citizen debt to banking debt. Where'd all the money go? Where'd all the wealth go if everyone is in debt? Even the banks, folks. They own and hold the title is what they own. The banks, the big ones, own title, and they also own the natural resources themselves. Whether it's a mountain of gold, a mountain of silver, a mountain of nickel, a mountain of cobalt. Mountains of iron, mountains of coal, mountains of gas, oil, petroleum, etc. That's what they own, folks, the banks. We have debt and cheap Chinese fucking products. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Pillar Salt, we went way too far on free trade, way too far. Should have never happened. Shouldn't have been allowed. When our cars, our refrigerators, everything is made, hecko on Mexico, hecko in Brazil, hecko in China. How can that be good for the country? We're sending our money over there. And worse yet, the government is just printing off money to send over there. They're devaluing the currency we have, what little wealth we have. Get your thoughts in, folks. It is your show, Sunday Night Live. Hit that super chat button. Get your question on the screen, and we'll talk. Definitely talk. Whew, I can feel that scotch doing its job. All right, Jolene, what do we want to shoot up on the screen next? It is Nancy Keg with an awesome $10 super chat donation. Hello, Nancy. I hope all is well up north. She says, no question for you. This is for the prepared mind, just because you guys feel like family Semper Fi. It is a family of Americans here. When I see Democrats, I don't feel like they're Americans because they don't say things that are very American. They don't do things that are American. Whether it's leaving the border open, sending our money overseas, and we've just sending the money over to Ukraine. It's already been exposed as a money laundering pit. Right? Remember Sam Bankman-Fried? Remember that guy? That little curly-haired 28, 29-year-old fraud nerd who had his cryptocurrency exchange. Was it FTX? He sent how many billions, tens of billions over to Ukraine, laundered it, and then sent it back in donations to Joe Biden and other Democrats. He was the second largest donor to political functions in our country. Money laundering. How about all of the billions that Joe Biden has sent over there? Just send that on over there. There you go, guys. Knowing the big guy gets his 10%. If you're opposed to that, if you want the border closed, yeah, you're part of this group in spirit. Even if you're not on this channel, there are many other channels on YouTube and BitChute and other social media networks that are fighting for people to wake up. Wake up. And folks, the Democrats don't realize it, but they've gone and they've pissed in their own pool. They've crapped on their own carpet. Let me explain. In South Carolina, Nikki Haley, who pretends to be a Republican. That's right. She pretends to be a Republican. She's running for president. She wants to go to war with everybody. That's what she thinks works. Let's just go to war. How is the wartime economy treating you? Is it profitable? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like your job is secure because of the wartime economy? We've been at war, folks, forever. It's not getting better. The myth that World War II brought America out of the Great Depression is a lie. It was deficit spending that goosed the economy, but pumped a ton of debt into our country after World War II, and they've just continued it since then. We're now at the hockey stick portion where it goes like this and it goes straight up. What, 33, 34, 35 billion dollars. That doesn't count the unfunded liabilities. That is the money the U.S. government in Washington, D.C. has promised to pay everyone, but doesn't have the cash. That's also debt. Anyways, let us continue. Right, Nikki Haley is being supported and sponsored by Democrat funders. George Soros types are paying Nikki Haley, the Republicans, campaign costs. Well, anyways, Nikki Haley's South Carolina home was swatted. That is to say, somebody called up the police and said, oh my gosh, at Nikki Haley's house at 12345 Pine Street, Shittsville, someone's getting shot. Someone's getting beat up. There's guns. Someone's being threatened. Oh my God, someone's going to die. Pew. So the police show up, swatting. It is continuing to happen. It even happened to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue last week. That is the president of the United States. Someone swatted the White House. Someone swatted Nikki Haley's house. The caller said that he shot his girlfriend and was going to shoot himself. Wow, folks. The Democrats don't realize they've shit in their own dinner plate. No one is safe. Neocon Nikki has been targeted. Right? Taylor can be, Taylor's, this is a big one over the weekend. This is just stupid. Taylor Swift, someone has used AI computer imagery to create fake porn with Taylor Swift in it. That they're already calling for legislation to stop AI deepfakes, which is computer generated high quality fakery. That is not allowable. But swatting is okay. Oh, don't worry. They've swatted Republicans. They've swatted Democrats. They've swatted everybody. They're going to continue. That would be the radical leftists who don't have any problem lying, cheating, or stealing. This is the nature of the United States of America right now. We're more concerned about Taylor Swift and her legions of idiotic fans who throw money at her. Folks, they've been putting people's face on porn stars for decades as a joke. Oh, you want to see, name your celebrity. You want to see your boobs? Well, here you go. Right? And you're like, yeah, I don't think so. And who cares anyway? Why are they trying to distract us with Taylor Swift? Who gives a shit? You and I both know what's going on, folks. We both know what's going on. Anyways, Nikki Haley, Republicans, Democrats, the radical folks, idiots, are going to continue until they get violent. And that's what I think Chin Music was talking about. Gear ready, cleaned, all set. We're all set. And he's talking about, yep, you got sunglasses and half a pack of cigarettes. We got a hell of a march ahead of us. And it is coming. It's totally coming. Where do we go? I hope you are ready. If you got your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your ideas, you get them right up there. Hit that super chat button, and it is your show on Sunday Night Live. Now, I was touching on Ukraine, which is, Zelensky's pet country. He's allowed to run that country as long as he is doing what? As long as every bullet he can finds its way and gets shot over into Russia. Every artillery shell, every missile, every rocket. Well, get this. Zelensky shot down a military transport that belonged to the Russians. That's right. They shot down a military transport plane. And the Ukrainians were jumping. Yay, we shot down a Russian transport plane. Guess what? That transport plane was populated with dozens of Ukrainian prisoners of war. Kiev was bragging about shooting this plane down and then went, wow. No, we didn't do that. We had nothing to do with that. Yeah, they did. They claimed it, and then they tried unclaiming it. But they killed dozens of their own people. Zelensky is killing his own soldiers yet again. They were finding documents, folks, prison documents in the wreckage. Well, of course, you shot down a plane full of prisoners. Of course, there's going to be documentation of who they are, where they were captured, where they are being sent, processed, etc. They're POWs. They've been captured. They surrendered. That's the idea in wars. You take the other army, and anyone who wants to surrender, you take them off the battlefield. The Ukrainian military has been, folks, surrendering left and right because they know it's a losing effort and they're just there to die. Is that what you want to be for the United States government in D.C. as cannon fodder? Or how about vax fodder? There's only one way this is going to end, folks, and it ain't going to be fun. It ain't going to be pretty. They'll play games. They'll hit us with just ridiculous stories, distractions. They'll get us with red herring ideas and concept. You bet. Oh, by the way, we're at 450 people live right now. That is awesome. What a great number. I'd love to hit 500, but it's going to require your help. It is. It's going to require your help. Share the internet address and give this a thumbs up and hit that super chat button. Who wants to talk next? Who wants to step up next? Who has something to say? I've got a lot to say, but this is your show. I like to turn it over to you guys. And this is where I'm rolling next. President Trump has decided to go after Biden and ridicule that dumbass. Now, is Trump really the president we need, or is he the president this country deserves? Either way, folks, he's ridiculing Biden. Why? Because U.S. troops have been killed in a drone attack by basically Hezbollah, I believe up in Syria. A proxy army is now fighting against the U.S., bombing folks, attacking the Navy, bases, etc. Now, remember, the reason this is important, and a lot of politicians are calling for Iran to be bombed now. Remember that Biden gave Iran billions of your tax dollars. Billions of tax dollars have been given to Iran. And they're going to turn right around and start bombing the shit out of us, our military. Do you think for one second that Iran gives a shit? Or do you think they're part of a bigger, crazier game? Right? There's a lot of people that think this game goes right off the board, that they're all just having a good time there in their palaces, their White Houses, their pleasure zones, their vacation homes. They're all just laughing, whether it's Iran or Israel, the White House or Downing Street in England, that they're all just laughing their asses off, that we're being fooled as they kill us, bomb us, and drug us to death. I guess we're going to find out, huh? I guess. What is it that's important to you? What do you have to say to the rest of the country? By the time this show is over, folks, thousands of people will have watched it. And over the next few days, thousands more, because that's how this show works. If you want to talk to America, this is where you can tell America, wake the hell up. It'll get put out, folks, on BitChute, on Rumble. This video will get spread everywhere, along with everyone else's good videos and information. It is, folks, how we talk to each other. The mainstream media doesn't do a bit of good. It doesn't help a bit. Mainstream media. In fact, they shut down news. Newspapers, forget it. Radio, forget it. Television, forget it. Satellites, forget it. We are as close to underground as we can be, but we're readily available publicly. Again, the punishment, no money for us. It is you guys through your super chat donations that literally keep this show going. And let's do that now. Mr. Uman Jolene, who wants to step up next? Who has something to say? Who? And it is Robert Hodges with a $5 super chat donation. And he has this to say: a journalist was raided by the Department of Homeland Security. It was found the United Kingdom government surveils American internet traffic and gives that intel to the FBI by force. Now, this whole thing, folks, see, the FBI is not allowed to watch us, right? They're not allowed to spy on us. No, that's a violation of federal law. It's a violation of the Constitution. So you know what the federal government does? They've got this thing called Five Eyes. They have Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the United Kingdom. That's four, and we're the fifth. Those countries can spy on us, surveil us, listen to us, and then snitch on us as informants back to the FBI. So if the United Kingdom government surveillance, whether it's MI5 or MI6, that's their version of the FBI and CIA, they can do whatever the fuck they want, following us around, snooping on us, recording it, creating files, and then sending it to the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the National Security Agency, the NSA. How many federal institutions of law enforcement do we need to have? DHS, FBI, NSA, CIA. Oh, and there's more, folks. There's more. So yeah, they go raid somebody because England says, hey, we got some information. Maybe that's why I don't like fucking governments everywhere. Like right now, little communist bastard Justin Turdhole, who looks just like Fidel Castro. He's on his way out. Don't worry, Canada will replace him with another sellout sack of shit. You think I like the guy in charge of England or New Zealand or Australia? No, I don't. They finally got rid of that filthy horse-faced tart in New Zealand, or she resigned, right? That arrested people for trying to smuggle Kentucky Fried Chicken to their families, because that was important. That was important. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Hodges. Folks, say what you want, do what you want, be American. Don't be afraid of these motherfuckers. You haven't committed a crime. Now, why do they want to stop a journalist? Because he may have had some information. He may have been talking to someone important. He may have been riling people up. He may have had insider information, a real journalist, an investigative journalist who has money to go pay people to give him information. And the the United Kingdom. Britain was like, Department of Homeland Security. We just caught journalist Mark W. Smith. That's right. Mark W. Smith has got some information, and it is bad. You better go arrest his ass and investigate him before it gets loose. That's the type of shit that's going on, folks. That is the type of shit that's going on. Now, we've got a CashApp super chat donation from Margaret O. Margaret O. $10 super chat donation. Margaret, thank you very much. When I get those, this is her message. The $10 super chat is for fuck them. F them is what she wrote, but I know what she meant. Fuck them. Thank you very much. That's right. We've got Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and then we've got the super chat YouTube button up here. Margaret, thank you very much. If she's got anything else to say besides fuck them, Mr. Uman, keep an eye out for Margaret O, aka Plant Lady Mom. Okay, let us continue if we shall. Mr. Uman, who do you have that wants to step up and have something to say? And it is our Canadian brother, Boomer21, with a Canadian $10 super chat. And here's his thought. He says, my biggest concern is that China will strike while the iron is hot against Taiwan, meaning a possible cashless society, whereas the World Economic Forum mandates can be enforced. This is a whole lot of shit to unwrap right here. Thank you, Boomer. Let's attack these pieces of your comments one at a time. I'm going to use a boxing reference. When I was a jarhead, I used to do a little bit of boxing as well as I played for the rugby team. And boxing, I think, is the better reference. When you get hit with a stiff jab, it'll stand you up. Poof. Hurts good, stands you up. Put you back on your heels. Now you're leaning back. You get hit again. Pow, pow. Pretty soon you're getting knocked backwards. Back, back, back. You're off balance. You can't catch your feet. You can't, all you can do is cover up and start blocking, right? Until you get a clear shot again to punch your way out of it. But that said, China is watching what is going on with the United States of America. Biden has fucked up the southern border. The country is messed up on that. We're messed up on our military. Hell, wait till I tell you about the U.S. Navy. Oh, man, don't let me forget to talk about the U.S. Navy. We got problems with Ukraine, problems with Israel, problems with our base in Syria being bombed by Iran. We've got the Iran issue. We got the Yemenis crap. The Houthis up in North Korea. Kim Jong-un is going nuts again. Kim Jong-un is being a little asshole. And then you've got China saying they're going to reintegrate Taiwan into the Chinese ownership. It's still a part of China, says China. Speaking of Taiwan. Now, what does China need to do? Boomer says his biggest concern is China will strike, meaning when America, the United States of America, is distracted, weak, hurt, with a weak-ass president like Biden, no less, that they can go after Taiwan. Now, where you tie in a cashless society, I don't quite follow the connection there. It almost seems to be a non sequitur, or rather a separate topic. China can hurt America financially, economically, monetarily, by them and Russia introducing a gold-backed currency, valuing, shall we say, gold much higher. That would cause chaos. It may cause too much chaos. We're going to find out what China wants to do, folks. And understand this, China is not going to attack when we think we're weak. China is not going to go after Taiwan when we think it's the best time. China will do it when China is good and ready, when China is prepared, when China has everything in their favor. Right now, China is watching America defeat itself because they're paid off slob. The Biden family, Congress, is doing everything they can to destroy this country. Literally everything they can. They've sent our business out. They've sent our labor out. They've sent out our manufacturing. America is incredibly rich in energy. Nope, you have to get it offshore. The World Economic Forum, folks, wants a central bank digital currency. The Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, wants central bank digital currencies. And they've mandated it. In the United States, I don't know if it's ready or not. If they've got one that they can put out, their Fed coin, whatever they want to call it. I'm calling it the Fed coin because it's the Federal Reserve Bank will be issuing currency that is not freely exchanged, currency that is electronic in nature, cashless, currency that can be shut off, confiscated, penalized, taxed. So you have to stay in their system. That's what the World Economic Forum wants. So they can mandate more. They can mandate a social credit score. Oh, you want to talk, John? Well, we're going to have to punish you. They want to try and enforce that. Now, China, my friends, already has a central bank digital currency they've been working with. I don't think it's working all that well. I guess we'll find out, right? Yeah. My biggest concern is these people will continue to fuck up enough that they destroy everything. The World Economic Forum, the international banking cartel, thinks they're going to control the world. But Russia, China, Brazil, India, South Africa, and a dozen other nations are having second thoughts about tying their horse to the World Economic Forum cart. We're going to find out. All I say to you is you need to be ready with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We can't stop U.S. policy. We can't change what treaties, what idiotic agreements Biden or the Senate or anyone else signs us on for. All we can do is handle ourselves. By the way, we've been hovering between 470 and 490 people live. Thank you for coming here to watch the Prepared Mind channel. This is amazing. Thumbs up if you haven't done it already, please. Hit the thumbs up button. Share that internet address at the top of your screen. And be sure you've subscribed as well. Be sure you have subscribed. Thank you, Boomer, very much. There's a lot coming. There's no way to predict how this is all going to shake out, except it is not going to be in our favor. Because the people at the top, thank you, Jolene, the people at the top, the power structure says you will own nothing. And then they have the temerity. They have the guts to say, and you'll like it. And by the way, you won't get meat anymore. And the food you get will be genetically modified, and you'll get to eat bugs. You won't get any heat to keep yourself warm. Instead, you can snuggle with all of the illegal immigrants that we're sending into your country. You can all snuggle in bed together. Won't that be a fucking hoot? All right, let's do this. Jolene, who is up next? Right down here. Does a super chat donation? Oh, Uman says, John, don't forget to talk about the Navy. Okay, I'll do that. Hang on to that super chat. Everyone else, get yours in down below. Let's see, CashApp, Venmo, PayPal, or up here, super chat button. The Navy. Months ago, we heard that the U.S. Army is not meeting its recruitment goals. Well, guess what? Neither is the Navy now. So what are they doing to attract the best Americans? They're saying if you do not have a high school diploma, the Navy will still take you. Really? Because nothing says models. Nothing says competent Navy. Nothing says powerful, strong, competent Navy like no education and no common sense. It's going to work well on the high seas, folks, isn't it? Having a Navy full of people without even a high school diploma. You can be a fucking dropout and enlist in the Navy. What better place to have a bunch of uneducated, no common sense people than sailing around on nuclear powered ships? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Let's fly our planes with people who have no concept of reality, who say, I'm a girl when I have a penis. Well, I'm a fire hydrant. Well, I'm a giraffe. And everyone has to accept me and believe in that shit. Even the village people who sang songs like YMCA and In the Navy, you bet your ass they're embarrassed at what their crowd has become. Good God. Okay, well, man, thank you for reminding me to talk about the Navy. You are a good man. Let's move on. Now, let's get to the next super chat. It is your time, and it is Nelson Garcia. Good God, with a $49.99 super chat donation. That's $50. That's $50 in my book. Buys a Glenfiddich 18 years single malt Scotch. Been waiting for one of these. Need to get the old brain all lubricated and limber. Nelson, what else you want to talk about, man? Woo! All righty. Little prayer there. It's like mother's milk right there. That is damn good Scotch. Nelson Garcia says the problem is the president is only the one eligible for 4 years, then it changes. If it don't, we become communist, double-edged sword. Well, I'll tell you what. The idea behind the elections is we avoided getting a king. Right? We avoided getting a king. We avoided having career politicians. The idea with Congress every 2 years, Senate every 6, and a president every 4, and then limiting that to 2 terms as president. The idea was that we don't have a political class. Well, look at what we have, folks. We have a political class. They shouldn't be paid anything. Or should they be paid really well and denied any other income? Well, they've gone all over the board and done everything they can to benefit themselves, of course. Now, when you look at a country like China or Russia, and the reason I'm going to talk about this is so we can see exactly how there is benefit to having a government that is stable and has the same people in place. They can have a long-term goal, a long-term plan that will not change except as it needs to be modified as time progresses to accommodate the end goal, a long-term goal. Our country has short-term goals because we have short-term politicians. They could disappear next month. They could resign like Kevin Shitstain McCarthy, or they could lose the next election. And rather than going this direction to save the country, they could turn around and go back the other direction because new politicians get elected. Same with the president. You get 4 years of a president, maybe 8, and then you're going to get a whole nother animal in there who could change the entire direction. So our country is basically sailing adrift. No one is manning the rudder. We'll sail this way for a while, then we'll sail another way. Then we'll sail another way. Then we'll do something else entirely. So that is the benefit to a country, a benefit to a system like Russia or China has, where Putin has been in charge of Russia since the Soviet Union crashed. It has taken decades to straighten this country out. They have been recently crushed, or the attempt was to crush Russia using sanctions, confiscation of wealth, etc. Except, well, the world owes Russia. The world owes Russia a favor for providing enriched uranium for nuclear power plants, oil, natural gas to keep Europe warm and cozy in the winter, and their manufacturing facilities running and their power plants churning. But of course, they need to crush and destroy Russia. Russia is stronger than it ever was, folks. China also has long-term goals with communist leader for life, Xi Jinping. Okay, so he's got a plan. And until he dies, they'll keep going in that direction so they can focus. They can stay on track. They can get there. Now, the problem with that is, what if the leader is a communist? And his idea is, we're going this way with the country and we're killing everyone we don't like along the way. That's what communists do and dictators do. So that's kind of the downside to it. But what do we have in this country? The United States of America. We've got a country that has a constitution that is being ignored. We have a country with a two-party system, so we should have competition for ideas. Yet the country is constantly going politically left, towards socialism, towards communism. So even though we exchange politicians every 2, 4, and 6 years, even though we do that, we're continuing to get the same political movement to the land of social communism and social fascism. It is a double-edged sword having elected politicians. We need accountability. We need to be able to charge these people for the crimes they've committed. Whether it's a simple crime of dereliction of duty, incompetency in the gross version, gross incompetence, for violating our constitutional rights, violating their constitutional duties, failure to live up to their oath, taking money, all of those things need to be punished, as well as treason and bribery and extortion, like Biden saying, I'm not doing my job on the southern border until you give me $60 billion for Ukraine and another $10 billion for Israel. Crazy shit. Thank you, Nelson Garcia. Now, we got another Cash App Super Chat donation. And this comes from Misty Cook. And it is a $5 Super Chat donation through Cash App down below in the description. We got Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. So, Misty Cook, if you can, Mr. Uman and Jolene, keep an eye out for her comments or thoughts. Nothing showed up in the comments of that little Super Chat donation there. We're going to keep going. We've got a lot to talk about. We've barely scratched the surface, folks. Scratched the surface. Now, bringing this country down, piece by piece. That's what the government wants to do. That's what China is enjoying. China is not having to shoot a bullet. Now, there's this guy, folks, named Nikita Khrushchev. He was leader of the Soviet Union back in the 60s. He went to the UN and he took his shoe and he banged his shoe on the lectern, screaming and yelling. He's famous for a quote that the United States will be defeated without a single shot being fired. Now, shots are being fired left and right, but the United States is going down. They're firing bullets in Ukraine. They're firing them in Israel. They're firing them in Yemen. They're going to fire them all over the planet. We're firing them in our own country. But I think what he meant was without a declared, overt, in-your-face, giant civil and uncivil and world war. That was his prediction. How do you think his prediction's holding up? Scary shit. All right, let's do some more super chats. What do you guys want to talk about? It is Diorce checking in with a 1776 super chat donation. And he says, once again, YouTube is censoring my super chat. fuck YouTube for that. I tell you what, Diorce, I get it, man. There is also CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal down below. It's a way to go around YouTube and they're censoring bullshit. You send something there. If I don't see the question or comment, then I will say, hey, keep an eye out for Diorce's comments if you don't like them. And yeah, fuck YouTube. But it is still the single largest platform for reaching the most people freely. They're not removing my videos and giving us censorship strikes. They're just not funding us, and they're keeping all the money for themselves because they're a bunch of thieving bastards. Now, Diorce continues, make sure that you're on the right side of history. I have cut out friends and family members for this. I tell you what, Diorce, you are absolutely correct. We need to be on the correct side of history. We need to be on the right side of it, the smart side, the free side. We don't need to be on the murderous dictatorship, anti-human, pro-fruitcake side of history. I don't want the prepared mind descendants 3, 5, 10 generations from now to look back and go, that fucking John guy was a screwy bastard. Why was he supporting people who cut off their own dicks? Why is he supporting sending jobs and money out of his country? What the fuck was he thinking? No, they'll know all about me. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The same way I know that a very ancient ancestor of mine and his friend organized a mutiny on a immigration ship coming to America because the captain was intent on selling the boatload of white Europeans as slaves in the Caribbean. He took over the ship and sailed it back up into the Chesapeake, back up into Maryland, and the people safely got off the boat. That history was lost until it was rediscovered. You, my friends, we may not all be famous, or maybe none of us will be famous, but the things we're doing, the freedom we're demanding and that we're going to fight for, history will remember us for it. The same way we remember the Declaration of Independence. It was supported by the country. The American Revolution was supported by the country. The Constitution, after the Articles of Confederation, the original government for the U.S., the United States, and then the United States Constitution, those people fought, battled to win freedom and then develop their own system of self-governance. And we remember them. They're not all famous, but they fought their asses off for it. So, friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, people in your states, if they don't believe in freedom and liberty, if they're pro-socialism, if they're pro-big government, cut them out of your life. Fuck them. No, again, you could say, hey, look, anytime you want, you can wake the fuck up and start thinking freedom. And if they come around, that's good. If they don't, cutting them off at this point, I don't care. If people in my family and my circle of friends don't believe in freedom, they can go to hell. Because that same friend, that same family member who's a communist, a socialist, a fascist, they will sell you out and have you killed quicker than you can shit. I am not joking. In every murderous regime around the planet, people shit on their family members. Even their own family, their own fathers, their own children, even their own mothers. They will sell them out in order to make themselves look good to the state. Wild shit. Wild shit. Thank you, Diorce, very much. We need people like you out there fighting for freedom and liberty. Who's up next? Who do we have? We have Chin Music again, 1999 Super Chat donation. He says, Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones, Tara Reed, and Juanita Broderick. Get nada, zip, zilch, no money. Now, folks, Get this, back in 1994, I rented a house from Jennifer Flowers. Wasn't that Jennifer Flowers? Who are these people? Jennifer Flowers was the love toy of Bill Clinton. Paula Jones said Bill Clinton assaulted her. Tara Reid says that she was sexually assaulted by Joe Biden. Juanita Broderick said she was violently raped by Bill Clinton. Jennifer Flowers, folks, she wasn't even allowed to talk. But the Democrats believe that heinous Halloween mask with a R-ape fantasy gets $83 million. Who's he talking about? That E. Jean Carroll chick is claiming that President Trump raped her, and that since he called her names, she deserves a bunch of money because he defamed her. The judge in that case, folks, is a Democrat. The plaintiff's attorney has the same name as the judge, and it turns out he and the the plaintiff's attorney worked in the same law firm. Can you say conflict of interest? He should have recused himself, but no. There will be no justice in a court, folks. Ask the January 6th prisoners, political prisoners. They can't get a fair trial. They've tried having a judge. One guy waived his right to a trial by jury, and he still got hammered by the judge who threw the fucking book at him. There is no way out. Once they put cuffs on you, you are done. You're done. And by the way, yes, this E. Jean Carroll, who is just a hideous freak, has rape fantasies that she's shared with the world on social media. Sex fantasies, rape fantasies. She is a lunatic who looks like she's probably on 4 or 5. And I don't care, folks. When you see someone who's on way too many SSRIs, antidepressants, you can tell. They look freaky as fuck. I don't know what the hell she's on. She can't remember the day, the time, or even the year. Or no, she figured it out. She came up with the time. She came up with that when she was raped, supposedly, by Donald Trump. Does she look like Ivanka Trump? Does she look like Trump's current wife, Melania? Is she just this beautiful, gorgeous woman that Trump would give 5 seconds to? Hardly. Plus, she's a freaking lunatic. She claimed that she has the coat, the clothing she wore when this rape happened. The designer, the creator of the fashion says, I hadn't created that yet when you say Trump raped you while you were wearing it. Just ridiculous. As if he would rape her in a dressing room in a store. That's the claim. That's the claim, folks. We can no longer operate in good faith with a ruthless, truthless foe. Back in 2020, leading up to that election, there was one state Democrat party leader who said they will lie, cheat, and steal. He headed up Colorado, said they would lie, cheat, and steal to make sure that the Democrat candidate won the state. Well, he was good to his word, but what they're doing is they're telling us exactly who they are and what they're willing to do. They will ignore the Constitution. They will lie. They will. They are manufacturing evidence. The FBI is. And it ends up in court showing Master Sergeant Brown, decorated combat veteran, U.S. Army Green Beret, Master Sergeant, folks, E8. They manufactured evidence, the FBI did, in court to try and convict him, make him sound like a fucking terrorist. They don't even have to tell the truth, because there is no way to convict good, honest, decent Americans unless you lie about them. The evil coming out of the left is incredible. All right, let's do another Super Chat donation. We're up at 460 people live. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up and share the internet address. Jolene, man, who do we want to put up next? We've got Orlando with a $20 Super Chat donation. Big time, Orlando. Thank you, sir. And he says, get this, folks. This is going to be a powerful statement. We've reached a point of desperatism on an unparalleled level that has the capacity to finish us off if the DS doesn't get it done first. We need to fight back harder right now or risk losing our country permanently. I have to agree with you, and I'll say this. We can fight harder, fight back. And I'm not talking about, folks, using bullets and violence. We are still in the political process part of the war. But he is correct, right? We are desperate at this point. Look at the politicians we have. We finally have a governor doing something which prompted other governors to offer support. We're getting jack shit out of Congress. The only thing we're getting is MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. What is he doing? He's holding off from giving Joe Biden $60 billion. That's all they're doing, is not signing on. Why aren't they impeaching him? I thought we had articles of impeachment written up. How much lying, theft, graft, extortion, bribery do we have to put up with before this guy is fucking impeached? Oh, well, it's too close to the election. Now it'll look like election interference. What took so long to get here in the first place? We are that desperate, folks. And we're at an unparalleled level in this country, failing utterly and collapsing into civil and partisan chaos. That's where we're at. Fight back, wake people up. Odds are we're going to lose, in my opinion, the United States of America and our U.S. Constitution. And we're going to degrade into something that is less than that, where both parties or both sides disregard constitutional limitations, and we disregard our care for the country, because there is no country. It's been destroyed. And we end up in a massive civil conflict. It happened to the Soviet Union, folks. It happened. Luckily, I could say their nuclear arsenal was not sold off to terror groups. This country is in massive trouble. Massive trouble. Washington, D.C. has failed us utterly. They're continuing to fail us intentionally. Heads of the CIA have been communist Muslim converts, anti-American to the bone. And they've been pushing to get us to this place where we're at now, Orlando. They have intentionally been pushing us here. And they want you and me to be out on the streets fighting with these socialist, leftist, anti-American types. That's where we're at, folks. I mean, who is the government? Who are the Democrats pushing to be the beloved of America? Who are they pushing to be Joe Sixpack? Well, how about this? There is a man in San Francisco who is transgender, and his lover, both men, fruitcakes extraordinaire. They have been convicted of a gruesome torture and murder scene, folks, in San Francisco. Because nothing says model citizen, once again, like a murderous set of butt pirates in the Bay Area. That is who these people are. That's who Biden wants the country to become. And if you disagree with them, then you, as an American or a parent, are a domestic terrorist. How could it be made any more clear that this is what they're doing to our country, and this is what they Washington, D.C. wants. This is what they want. And just a few years ago, literally back in 2020, I learned from a friend that Washington, D.C. is populated with an incredible amount of fruitcake men. It is a sick, twisted city, folks, but that's where the seat of power is for the federal government. All right, what is up next as far as topics go? Here we go. We're at an hour and 20 minutes in, and holy cow, Nelson Garcia again. Whoa, I feel an ambush coming. Here we are, Nelson, Mr. Garcia, another 18 years Scotch, Glenfiddich 18 single malt. One of my most favorite scotches. Down the hatch, Semper Fi, God bless America. Woo! Man. Here we go. Nelson Garcia asks, John, do you think Trump will win this election, or will he be put in jail? Everyone in high power wants him out. Okay, let's start right there. If he doesn't get into the presidency, it'll be because he's been elected. I'm sorry. That's Scotch. Woo! He will be assassinated, or he will lose the election due to rampant, fraudulent cheating by every Democrat and rhino Republican in the country. That's if he doesn't make it. You left out assassination, Nelson. There's a good chance that's going to happen. He is hated by everyone, not just in Washington, D.C., but an article came out today. The European Union and the central bank system of the world, they're worried that Trump could win. They are worried. They're letting us know the international banking cartel and government control system, the IMF, the BIS, the European Central Bank, the European Union, they're worried that Trump could win. Joe Biden is an absolutely awful candidate. Michelle Obama is an awful candidate. There is no excitement for it. If there was, guess what? They'd be parading her all over the news. You think she's going to be able to debate? Tell you what, she will not be debating Trump. No, he, Michelle Obama, Michael Robinson will not be debating Trump ever. They will not allow it because it will expose the incompetence, the inexperience, the unintelligence, the inability to think rationally. That's what it will expose, and they cannot have that. Everyone in power at the world level, in Washington, D.C., and also in the states, at the individual state levels, they hate Trump. Hate him. Entertainment industry, the media hates Trump. Big tech hates Trump. The only one who loves Trump, folks, are, shall we say, infantry level servicemen. Right? If you're part of, if you love America and you're willing to fight for it, those guys. Not the people who join the military to get sex change operations paid for. They don't love Trump. It's incredible, folks, how much Trump is loved. And it's incredible how badly he is hated. You asked, do I think he will win this election? If the election was fair, he would win. That's my opinion. If, folks, Nelson, if he is deemed to be an absolute and total threat and things are not going their way, they will do all they can to cheat, or they may even have him assassinated. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Thank you again, Nelson, for the great super chat donation, keeping this channel going, making sure, folks, we keep the lights on and tuna fish and spam as well as Glenn Fiddick and Glenn Levitt in the Prepared Pantry. Okay, who is next on the show? I know we've got people lined up. Bloomer, 21. The globalists will make certain that terrorist cells will activate with a Trump victory. Oh, you couldn't be more right, Boomer. If they cannot assassinate Trump, and speaking of that, Trump wears a red tie when he wears his business suits. Guess what color all Secret Service agents are not wearing now? Red. They have all been advised, do not wear red ties. President at risk, because it makes it easier for some ding-dong to identify, target, select Trump all the more easy. It's just incredible that they would do something like that. It's not a huge move. It's just a very pointed move. Make sure you only shoot the guy with the red tie. Anyways, will they activate terrorist cells with a Trump victory? If they can't assassinate him or defeat him, this country will erupt, absolutely erupt in incredible amounts of violence. If you recall back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton couldn't cheat her way in, all of the tears, the crying, literal tears, folks, from liberal shit stains, politicians, media personnel, everyone, everywhere, crying over Hillary? Well, they just didn't want Trump. Then we started hearing the never Trump. Then we started hearing the violent threats. From rap videos with a Trump character being assassinated to a decapitated Trump head covered in blood, to effigies, that is to say, puppet likenesses of Trump being hung, burned, etc. We're going to have many people that hate Trump, folks. Let's start with the pro-Palestinian, pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, pro-murder, pro-baby killing, pro-rape, pro-refuse to wear uniforms so you can claim that you're a civilian when they kill you, right? So you're a martyr, but also, you're not a true enemy combatant. The terrorist cells, they can be activated. They're already here. If they weren't here before Joe Biden, they're definitely here now. And in addition to that, you have the not fucking around committee, not fucking around militia, whatever they're called. I know Uman knows who they are. They're radical, racist militia. They started a bunch of shit years ago with, they want the state of Texas. Interesting that they selected Texas as a form of reparations. Who else? The Black Lives Matter. Violent, murderous, arsonists. And they have won in several cities. Now they've won in Portland. What is it, $10 million? Or is it Seattle? Seattle. $10 million, $13 million. The people who were arrested said they were arrested too violently. And so they sued the city of Seattle, who settled with them for millions of dollars because they were treated too harshly by the police. Have they looked at fucking January 6th? Don't worry. Washington, D.C. will say, sovereign immunity, we are not going to allow you to sue us. That's right. The January 6th conservative, patriotic Americans will not be able to sue the police for firing flashbangs, rubber bullets, pepper ball, and then beating the living fuck out of them with batons, killing 4 people that day, smashing faces, bruises, false arrests, etc. That's right, Antifa, BLM, and terror cells. They are going to go nuts and have a field day. Don't worry, I will have my AR-15 close at hand, all clean and sparkly. I have one that's dry, piston operated. I have the other one will have a nice film of CLP on it. Keep that bolt nice and wet and ready to roll. ready to rock. Don't worry. I'm sure you will as well. Someone, I think, offered to make sure I get a new AR-12 shotgun. So I'm wondering if that one's going to come true or not. Sounds like a good birthday present to me. Anyways, folks, these groups. Oh, I almost forgot. One last one, Boomer. One last one. The violent, murderous, mass murdering LGBTQIA trans crowd. I just talked about two of them tortured and murdered someone. Then we have our mass murdering types. Don't worry, the tranny crowd is out there and they want to have their part of violence as well. Be prepared to deal with them all. All right, Jolene, man, who's up next? Who do we got in the hopper? It is Chin Music with $9.99 super chat again. He says that makes the total 50. Take a shot, big fella. Oh man, that's right. 1999, and a 9.99 is 50. I almost filled up the cup here. Over to this one, John. Pay attention, man. Got to keep my wits about me. Hard to do when you guys are keeping me so well lubricated. Here, that's right. Got to keep my brains limber. Salute, prost, cheers, and semper fi. I tell you, good golly. Whew, man. Yes, sir. It's going to be a rough day at work tomorrow if this keeps up. Okay, thank you, Chin Music. Where are we going next? Misty Cook. We did a super chat already. Man, she says, I was just saying that Bibles, boom sticks, ammo, and purchase of goods from Bass Pro Shops put you on fuck Joe Biden's Christian right-wing extremist list. And that is true, Misty. Do not assume, folks, any of you. Scotch. Woo. No, everyone, seriously. Yeah, if you're a Christian, you're on a list. If you've bought any handguns or ammunition, consider yourself on a list. Snitched on if you've gone to, Bass Pro Shops or Sportsman's Warehouse, right? Or anything, right? Bud's Guns. It doesn't matter where you've gone. Cheaperammo.com. It doesn't matter. The credit card companies have said they'll put us on lists. As far as we know, they'll just open up their records to the United Kingdom and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and just go, you go ahead and look and see where our customers purchase their goods from. We don't see that you're looking at their records, so you can snitch on them. You bet. We're all extremists, folks, because we follow Barry Goldwater's concept, right? Extremism in the defense of liberty. Did I say that wrong? This guy's got me. Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. In other words, being a patriotic American is not a crime. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's admirable. And knowing, as long as you know now and accept the idea that if you're a Christian patriot who believes in freedom, liberty, and the Constitution, believes in American history, customs, traditions, and law, you are a good person, and you should not be ashamed of that. And you certainly, in this day and age, cannot hide it, even if you want. Some people on here use pseudonyms, fake names. Other people use their real name, first and last. The government knows who you are. The only thing stopping the government from coming and getting you is the fact that you have boom sticks. And that if they start arresting Americans will go, hey. People are being arrested for what? Being American? Well, I tell you what, I am not going to allow myself to be arrested. You know why? Because they'll invent 100 crimes that I have not committed and charge me with all of them. They'll take me to a jurisdiction that is foreign to mine and have me tried by a judge and a jury that are not my peers and don't believe in law or the Constitution, but rather make up the law procedure along the way and allow manufactured evidence against me. Hell, they could say I robbed banks. They could say I've committed murder or acts of terror. They could say all kinds of crazy crap about me. They could use the artificial intelligence deep fakes to put me in videos committing crimes that I haven't committed. Why would I allow them the opportunity? They proved it with Master Sergeant Brown, who's down in Florida. They proved it. You don't have to be in Washington, D.C. for them to get you. They'll come get you wherever they're at, wherever you're at. And they'll arrest your ass and it's over. Game over for you. You're now out of the game. At best, at very best, you'll be a martyr. I want to be here, folks, to play in the big game. That's why I came back from the RMZ, is to be in the big game. Thank you, Misty Cook. I appreciate the super chat and I appreciate the topic to go over. You all have to decide the same thing. They won't come after all of us. Certainly not this, we're talking about being prepared. They're going to go after people who are putting together very large militia organizations, organizations that have white supremacists in them, ones they can obviously see are violent and organized and could be a problem for them. And that they can set an example and scare other Americans. That's the idea, is to scare other people into compliance with their bullshit rules. All right, Jolene Uman, who steps up next on this Sunday Night Live at the Razor Wire Zoo? And it is, I've been wondering where you're at, Mr. Skylight, with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he has a brilliant quote for us again. He says, loyalty to country, always. Loyalty to government, when it deserves it. That is a fine quote from Samuel Clemens, a.k.a. Mark Twain, a fine American satirist, comedian, if you will. Read his work. He's a funny bastard. Mark Twain, very intelligent guy. He blended humor with philosophy, and I admire the man quite a bit for it. His writings are ending up on woke banned lists because, we can't remember history as it was. Tom Sawyer, that's racist bad stuff there, right? Crazy. Thank you, Mr. Skylight, very much. I look forward to your Monday memes tomorrow if I get 2 seconds to think for myself. Let's continue if we shall. Who do we have next here? We've got Robert Hodges again with another $5 super chat donation. That super chat button up there or down below in the video description is Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. You guys keep this show rolling. We're sitting at an hour and 40 minutes. Almost. Hour and 40 minutes. We're live. We have over 440 people live on Sunday night, folks. That's how pissed off and concerned you guys all are about what the hell is happening in this country and our planet. So Robert Hodges brings up HR 4022, Cell Site Simulator Warrant Act of 2021. A friend in Hong Kong was arrested by CCP later on for just taking photos of the protests. Okay, folks. HR, it's a House Resolution 4022, Cell Site Simulator Warrant Act of 2021. It's funny. They should be arresting Joe Biden, not just impeaching him. They should have arrested Hunter Biden. They should have arrested half of fucking Congress. They should be investigating them for having orgies and snorting coke and all manner of drugs in Washington, D.C. The bribery, the insider trading, the theft, everything that they do there, folks. It is the city of extortion and threats. Well, instead of taking care of crime in the southern border, they introduce legislation to empower the government to more effectively try and arrest you. They want to stop, folks, people from organizing, right? Cell site simulator. I'm pretty sure this is the one I'm thinking of, where if it seems like you're putting together a terror cell, a terror unit, then they can investigate you and arrest you. What are the grounds? What are the grounds for being a terror organization? Well, parents are domestic terrorists, according to Joe Biden and Merrick the Garlic Butlick, who is the Attorney General for the United States government in D.C. If you're a parent that you don't like your child being exposed to homosexual pornography and grooming in school, then you're a terrorist. And if you're a terrorist, then you must belong to a terror cell, right? In other words, anyone they don't like, they can fabricate evidence on, which we've already talked about and demonstrated in the past, why I won't be arrested. They can go fuck themselves. This is what they want, folks. They want to have any reason at all to justify arresting you. Because guess what? If Americans start getting arrested, the other Americans are going to be like, hey, I better shut my lips. I better be quiet. I better back the fuck up. I better let Joe Biden in Washington, D.C. do whatever they want. Or we're going to be part of a terror cell. Now get this, the state of Texas just named itself an entire terrorist state to Washington, D.C. I recommend everyone calling every congressional representative and emailing every congressional representative they have and say, do not pass H.R. 4022. Why don't you pass a fucking law and go arrest the real terrorists in this country and prosecute the real drug dealers and the real sex trafficking and the real criminals, all of them in D.C. Do your fucking jobs. It would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, the left is desperate, folks, for some traction. The Biden campaign, according to some leaks, has a big event, and they're bringing the Obamas. They're bringing the Clintons for a, quote, all hands on deck rally to try and create some enthusiasm so that they can beat Trump. And when I read that, folks, I thought, yeah, they're doing everything they can, but they really suck. They have, folks, the Patriot Act. They have the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. They created the Department of Homeland Security. They're going to want to create more ability to come after us. It's amazing that they can't just outlaw guns and ammunition just like that and just be done with it. They can't, because we are armed and we know our rights. And the Democrats, I guess they're going to have an all-star spectacular of Democrat losers and assholes that no one cares about. If they want to put the Clintons, Obamas, and Bidens up on stage all together, hey, look, it's a crime organization. I'm sure everyone will be excited to go see them, huh? I don't think so, but here we are. This is what we've got. Wow. Sunday Night Live. Sunday Night Live. Oh, by the way, swatting. Have we talked about that already? Yeah, we have. Republican Representative Tom Emmer has also been swatted. Remember, it's okay to swat, but don't you dare make a fake Taylor Swift porn or nude picture and put it on the internet. We can't have that. We can't insult little Taylor Swift. Oh, no. Oh, no, we can't have that. But you're allowed to swat presidential candidates, the president himself, little stupid members of Congress. They're going after, folks, Republicans and Democrats, by the way. Nobody is going to get off the hook. We're battling people, folks, who are abject retards. whether it's the sexual deviants on the left, the anti-war deviants, the pro-war deviants, or the climate change morons. Ultimately, folks, we're dealing with morons. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Put together a basic self-defense plan, and you should be fine. Let me tell you another story about these idiot leftists. This time it is a global warming freak show. They decided to show up in Paris at Le Louvre. They found the Mona Lisa, which surprises me they were able to find the Mona Lisa. And because they're mad that there is a global warming or climate crisis, they decided to throw soup at the painting. Now, this is how stupid they are. The painting has been protected, if it's even still the real Mona Lisa, but it has been protected with a piece, I believe, of bulletproof, fireproof glass at this point. But they threw soup at it. This is the level of enemy action we're going to have. That's how fucking stupid these people are. All right, we're at an hour 46. We got about 15 minutes to go. Get your last comments in if you got them down below. Keep sharing that internet address. And if you're new, pow, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Let's talk about some more crazy shit that's going on. The leftists showed up at a Trump rally. Guess what? The people of Vegas that were Trump supporters grabbed the idiots who were wearing American flag bandanas or masks. They grabbed them and threw them out. Not the police, the people. Trump supporters sprang into action and threw the dumb fucks out. Right out the door. And by the way, only terrorists and thieves wear masks. Hey, if you believe in your cause, show us your face. Show us you're confident that it's the right thing to be and that it's successful. But no, they're fucking terrorists. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Let's keep going. Speaking of these people, the leftists, John Festerman. Get this. He is so retarded, he can't even follow the Democrat playbook. He was up on his roof at night, waving an Israeli flag, trolling pro-Hamas terrorists in the street below because they showed up at his home to harass him. And like he said, Fetterman is too stupid to realize he is helping Trump. This is the senator, a United States senator, Democrat, United States Democrat senator. He's the guy that wore warm-up jogging clothes to the Senate until they said, look, you got to dress like an adult if you're going to be in the Senate. This is the man who is suffering from brain damage. And the crazy brain damaged people of the country said, we're glad we have someone who can represent us. How can a crazy person represent crazy people in government? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's not like he's going to speak intelligently about mental illness and being crazy. It's how stupid they are, folks. But it's also to let you know these people won't just be throwing rocks at him and chanting at night. They'll be throwing fire bombs through his windows. These leftist terrorists will do everything they can to kill everyone they don't like when it gets nasty. Fetterman is too stupid to realize he's helping Trump and the Republicans make their point about these radical anti-American scumbags who need to all be deported. And if they're American citizens, natural born, then we need to find out exactly how to give them what they want. You don't like America, you can get the fuck out too. You want to commit crimes, you get to go to jail, not collect a bunch of money. Unbelievable, folks. Just the left doesn't get it. They have made enemies of everybody. Everybody. And now they're saying that Joe Biden hates Jews, right? The Biden regime, they turned around the Trump policy and they sent nearly $1 billion to Gaza since 2021 to the UNRWA. That supports Hamas and terrorists. But then Joe Biden wants to say that, he's for the Jews and he's trying to get them $10 billion. Everyone hates Joe Biden, the Jews, the Israelis, the Muslims, the Gaza terrorists, Palestinians. Everyone hates Joe and everyone hates Washington, D.C. Do you think that Washington, D.C. is really going to stand up? This is what's happening, folks. This is where we're at with these fucking idiots. Not only did they go to Festerman's house, they also went, get this, they also went to Anthony Blinken's house. Secretary of State for the United States federal government out of Washington, D.C., Anthony Blinken. They're calling him Bloody Blinken. And they're doing a camp out protest at Bloody Blinken's house. Hey, Democrats, you're not safe from your own form of terrorism and bringing this country down. They're not safe, folks. They made themselves enemies of everyone. They're enemies with Russia. They're enemies with Europe. They're enemies with terrorists. They're enemies with Israel. They're enemies with China, and they've pissed off Taiwan because they won't stand behind them. That's right. Biden has hung Taiwan out and allowed China to say, yeah, they're part of our country. And China's patient. Absolutely patient. They don't need to be in a big hurry. They're China. They've got a plan, and it's to take back Taiwan, and they'll wait till the United States government is so weak that they can just walk right in. Woo! Okay, let's do this. Apparently, we've got another super chat donation. We got 7 minutes left. What do we have? Who is here? It is Nelson Garcia again. Good golly, with another super chat. $49.99. 18-year Scotch donation. All right, Nelson. I think you're making sure I've got my medicine tonight. Good golly. And folks, frankly, the show can't do without you guys. The Scotch, it does it. I will be sleeping like a baby. Let's hope I can wake up in the morning. Nelson, thank you again for supporting the channel, supporting freedom, supporting America, supporting liberty, supporting free speech, supporting the Second Amendment, supporting the Prepared Mind channel, supporting all social media that wants freedom and liberty. You are doing your part. We all are doing our part. Continue to write, call, email, text all politicians at the federal level, the state level. Folks, and I know that sounds overwhelmingly complex, but sit down and make a list, put them in a special file, and send out one email with everyone else blind carbon copied, and it'll go to all of them, and let them know what you think every day of the week. For now, Nelson, Godspeed, Semper Fi, and cheers. Yes, sir. Wow. Wow. Okay. What are we going to talk about next? Darcy T sent me an email. A writer for The Daily Show, comedy show. So you can guess his politics. Tom Johnson, 55 years old, kicks the bucket. No cause of death provided for me. No cause of death needed. He goes right into my Pfizer file. Pow. Yeah, the man was 55. So what? We are seeing and hearing more famous people, more athletes, more celebrities, more news people, more kids, more children keeling over. The modus operandi, the circumstances of death are always the same, are they not? They're always the same. Now, wait a minute. Yep. Then we got another guy, 63 years old. Now you're like, hey, 63, shit, John, that's 10 years older than you, man. 63 is old. Well, this guy, this 63-year-old, was hiking, participating in hiking at Utah's national park. It's Zion National Park in Utah. You don't just go on a hike like these unless you're in shape. In other words, this 63-year-old man was in good physical condition. He's going to do a high altitude hike. Now, he's not running up the hill. He's not carrying a 50-pound pack and an M16. He's not doing anything crazy like that. He's just going for a nice walk. You don't do that stuff unless you're already in good shape. And this guy just keels over. Now, again, it happens. He's 63. The writer for The Daily Show is 55. People that age have heart attacks all the time. But have you ever actually seen people who have heart attacks? Oh, some of them look normal, but most of them have something obviously wrong with them. You can take a wild guess. I have a good damn idea, especially the liberal writer, who I am certain not only got his Jim Jones juice, but was certain to get his boosters left and right. Got to get those boosters in. Let me remind you about what's going on in Texas at the border. Joe Biden says the border is broken, and he's the one that broke it. But he says he can fix it, but he hasn't. And he's asking Congress and the American people for authority to fix it, but he already has it. And he wants you to believe, folks, that he is going to fix it and take action as soon as he gets money. And we all know that he won't fix a damn thing because he is Joe Biden and he is following orders. Truly, truly a giant sack of shit. Let's do this, folks. I'm curious, what has happened? Oh, it's Nelson Garcia. He's back. He says, John, thank you for being a mouthpiece. You have been a mouthpiece for humble people that don't have balls. Like you, Hillary Clinton with Benghazi, over 7,000 emails with a hammer disappeared and no one he put in court and see. Listen, Hillary Clinton and Benghazi, people died. Weapons were sold to terrorists, specifically Al-Qaeda. They smashed their iPhones, or their Blackberries, their government phones with hammers so they couldn't be read. It wasn't 7,000 emails, Mr. Garcia. It was over 30,000 emails. 30,000 emails. She didn't get arrested. She wasn't tried for crimes. The head of the FBI, the Attorney General of the United States government, decided not to press any charges. She also had an unsecured government server with top secret, confidential, no one should have this shit files on it, in the basement of her home. A massive violation of national security, and people died because of it. Hillary Clinton, not held accountable. People died. And remember when she got drugged into the Senate and they were asking her, what the hell is going on? And she said, what difference does it make now? Because they were wanting to know what she did and why and trying to hold her somewhat accountable. It was not a criminal trial, a criminal court, but she had the guts to scream at them. What difference does it make now? Yeah, you killed a bunch of people last week. The Benghazi was a complete debacle, an overrun. People, Americans killed. Obama, Hillary didn't help. What difference does it make now? Afghanistan, They surrendered the Biden administration $86 billion in equipment, weapons, tanks, helicopters, drones, bombs, guns, rockets, missiles, air bases, trucks, troop carriers, uniforms, food, infrastructure. Just left it with them. What difference does it make now? Well, it's going to make a fucking difference when those weapons show up in America in the hands of terrorists who are here now, who have come across the border because of Biden. That's what fucking difference it will make now. Right there. How does that work? It works, folks. It works. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, for 3 great Super Chat donations. And understand, folks, Kamala Harris, who's the vice president, says this, quote, "We could lose this democracy if they elect a president who would weaponize the Department of Justice and, quote, go after their political enemies." Is she describing Joe Biden? Because that's precisely what he's done. He weaponized the Department of Justice and has gone after his political enemies. Period. Period. Let's name a few of them, shall we? How about General Flynn? How about Trump? Of course, Trump. How about Rudy Giuliani? How about the Trump legal team? 18 different people drug into court. How about Roger Stone? There are dozens, folks, if not hundreds of people who worked around, were hired by Trump. And they're getting drugged through the mud, arrested and tried, sent to jail, given probation, fined. And Kamala Harris says, hey, we could lose this democracy. We've stepped past out of our republic stage. We were in a democracy, which is bullshit. We've lost that. We're now operating in a loose-knit banana republic, dare I say, dictatorship. We have a secret police. We have many secret police departments on many levels. They've had, shall we say, black prisons and jails, gulags, off the grid, unknown prison locations where you can be bagged in a snatch and grab arrest and taken to these black sites where you can be interrogated and tortured. Oh, enhanced interrogation. No, it's torture. Fucking torture. Your rights ignored, excused away, erased. They never existed. No trial, no arraignment, arrested and killed. That is coming. It's coming. It's coming. You know, meanwhile, the Democrats, and let's see, oh, here's one. Bridgeport. The mayor has won the race for mayor, even though his associate was caught on film stuffing a local ballot box with bags of ballots. Arrests? Don't count on it. Don't count on it. Just don't count on it. England wants the war in Ukraine to continue, folks, even though it's a loser. Says they're going to draft people in the United Kingdom. And here's a bit of good news that I'll end the show on, unless I get another super chat donation. It is over for tonight. But I want to leave you with a bit of good news. In Ohio, the Congress passed legislation saying women and children are protected. Minors will not be exposed to sex change trash, and female sports will be protected from these gender bending tranny freaks who want to compete as women even though they have penises. Well, the governor, Mike DeWine, supposedly a Republican, vetoed it. Well, the state Senate has overridden him with a supermajority vote. Thank you, Ohio. How could Ohio vote, folks, for a Democrat president? if they have a super majority of senators who would override their governor. How is it possible that Ohio can go to a Democrat president when they have a super majority of Republicans? How is it possible? It is only possible through cheating, is my opinion. Get active for this coming election. We're going to have to fight for it, folks, and we're going to have to fight afterwards as well. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi. Godspeed. And I'll see you 0:30 tomorrow. God bless everyone. God bless America.